And there's going to be a third part now. Why the heck not? Let's go along today. I'm going to share this last of the 14 from today with you. I'm going to light up my joint of John, of George, G-O-Orge, E, a geology orgy. It's amazing to me the mystery of all of life and its dance with death, and this possibility that we don't have to die. When I read things like Ramtha, I'm not necessarily 100% endorsing it. It's an exploration that I'm taking you on with me. Because as Sanmi 451 says in Cloud Atlas, to know thyself is only possible through the eyes of the other. To know thyself is only possible through the eyes of the other. Truth is singular, its versions are mistruths. So yeah, this whole thing with self and other, with you and me, that's another of one of these dichotomies or dualities that can be reconciled, as the Kabbalion teaches, and as I've been showing. This is the whole point, why I keep freaking going to this and why I made this, is to show this midline with either the horizontal of Horus, eyes on the horizon, and the vertical, horizont L and vertic L, of the Virgin, of the vertigo, of the many versions of the verses, of the vocabularies. This midline, signified by the M of the mem of Phoenician, of the wave, number 13 of the 26 in the English alphabet, Aleph Beth, in the middle. Well, that's the bullseye in darts. It's the target, or the tor-get. Get the Taurus. Get the meaning of the bull. Become no ledge a bull. Know the edge of the ledge. You get an edge, location. Get a leg up on the egg of the omega. Have a basics. Have a foundation. A strong foundation you need to build upon. Hell is the foundation of heaven. So you, second person, Libra, even, Eve, me, Adam, first person, odd, Aries, the body of Mars and Venus. But it's the other way around for you. For you, I'm the you and you're the me, so you're here and I'm there. But this is where we meet. Eat. This is where it's all mixed, and this is where mating occurs, the meeting, the coupleating, the joining, the binding, the yoking of yoga, of the parables, of the fables, of the myths of Mithras, of the crab, of the ratios and radius and radiation and radiance, of raising, a rising of Aries, resurrection from the winter solstice to the summer solstice, through the spring, offspring, child equinox of Ishtar, Easter, oyster, of estrogenesis, genesis, genetics, to that's the God good time, and then the decline, devil time of the double trouble of the valley, of the shadow of death, of Shaddai, from summer to winter, back to winter. It's always going from either winter to summer or summer to winter, around the clock, and through the equinoxes. 1 E, 1, 2, 3, H, 8. It's all here on the ecliptic. The whole Aleph Beth of the ox, Aleph with the horns, the A, turn it upside down, of the capital A. It's the bull of Taurus, of the Torah, of the Bible, of the beginning, of the genesis, genetics of Adam and Eve, odd and even, dawn and evening, on and off, up and down, all around and round. The secret of creation lies in the sine wave, or the sin of Eve, of the infinite, of the sun on the ecliptic, of the sin of Eve sine wave, of God's Son, who is both God and devil. He's the one playing the roles from wherever his position is in the year or in the day and the night. It's always God. God is the light that presents itself as shadow, which is illusory, which is the sensory. The extrasensory would be of the reality, and the sensory would be of the deception, the illusion, or illusion, of the pollution, of the solution and the problem. Ah. Last but not least, the 14th of the CRSs from today, May 20th, 2019, year of electricity. This is A4 mega table, green is its color. Stand the stairs down like Ross Perot there. Remember Ross Perot? I'm gonna be president. I'm gonna be a rich Texas president in the early 90s. See, like, it's utterly ridiculous politics, yes. It's a clown freak show with your Palauzies and trumpets. And the ridiculous donkey elephant show. The reality show, Truman show going on. But guess what? It ain't new. It isn't out of the blue. Okay? Look at Perot. Look at the freak show we've had. Going back. Clinton. And we almost got a second Clinton, for fuck's sake. That's, to me, more alarming than trumpet. The Joker card being played, but not that that's not significant, but it's a card being played, and it's a show, and it's an apprenticeship, and it's a ship of fools going down, the Titanic, the unsinkable sinking, as we speak. 1:11 p.m., 4121 invoice number, 42 and 11, and then look at the total, 26, number of God, 42. Omega 4121 42 4012 Georgia Street, Georgia. Ja. I see a lot of uptightness in the population here in this Northeast. I guess it's always been known for being kind of uptight and not very warm. Not the warmest folk up here. There's a real grittiness, and there can be a lot of hostility flying around with people in this area, especially in the commercial. I work in a commercial environment, but everything's been taken over by commerce now, and it's like people are so adjusted to being impersonal and talking on their phones now when they're in front of you when you're doing their cash register transaction. It's like, give me a break. It doesn't bother me though, because I take the witness position, and this whole CRS thing is just so goddamn fascinating to me. Goddamn fascinating to me. You know what I mean? Oh my god, you know how exciting it is to see things that other people don't see and know that there's something going on with it and it makes sense? And then a lot of people showing people and they actually get it. So I'm going to read to you from Jack Kerouac now, Atop and Underwood, Frank Underwood. This section here, a young writer's notebook, and of course this is what I just turned to, randomly so-called, 157, big frickin' number. A young writer's notebook. This is when Kerouac was a young man. Before on the road, before fame and fortune and misfortune and alcoholism and death at a young age. A young writer's notebook. The ending of this piece points in the direction of two of Kerouac's later works. Home at Christmas, a memory of pre-World War II Christmas time in Lowell, which appeared in Glamour in 1961 and is included in the portable Jack Kerouac and the teenage love story Maggie Cassidy, published in 1959. The novel's opening scene has Jack Dullios and his pals singing Jack-o'-diamonds on their way to a New Year's Eve dance at the Rex Ballroom in snowy downtown Lowell. In early 1953, Kerouac wrote a one-page preamble to the novel in which he explains that he wants to tell Neal Cassady how he fell in love. Quote, "How beautiful can a woman be that when after I met Mary Carney on New Year's Eve at a dance in the Rex dancing hall. It was snowing and GJ was singing Jack-o'-diamonds and we walked by Luxie Smith's house out in Pawtucketsville. How a poor little guy like Shorty has how a poor little guy like Shorty has to throw up a barricade of gruffness in order to survive. Although he is in himself a gentle young man. Although he never washes his face. About your Randy Shepperton, the way he smiles and then wipes it off like lightning, leaving a worried face haggard in the light. How he laughs hollowly to make politeness. Bores you because he is always making politeness. And above all, how he swallowed slowly when you told him the bad news. Instead of seeming worried, he just stared blankly. Poor kid, haggardly swallowing slowly in order to conceal all the fine things that I wish he'd broadcast in sincere swoops of the hand. Tell about Fabe and the way he throws up a front of dignity in front of his kid, little father and little son. How he loves to orate with a flourish, with a driving point. Tell about work-happy N, his nervous look, his bitchiness at times, his goodness at times, a little bit of everything in everything. Tell about how a piece of work mellows, how a piece of work mellows if you let it alone to study later. Tell how it feels to go to bed hungry. How it feels to want a woman and not have one. Ho, they all know that. Tell. How a cheap whore can think she is better than you. How a little slip of a skirt thinks she can change the entire weather, tissue, and color of your thought by the wiles of her scrawny self. My goodness. Tell of the hostess jukeboxes and the dedications. A man walking into a tavern saying, "Hello, Joe, everything fine," and you begin to think that men are decent after all. But when he leaves, the others begin to talk about him behind his back, and you realize that the brotherhood of mankind is dead. Damn it. Tell. Tell also the somber silver of November, the smell of cordy rawnesses in doorways, and the way the cold wind goes down your jersey, freezing your chest. Tell of Halloween in your mouth, the wild black orange gibberings and the screeching fury and horror of the harvest frows, the witch, the pumpkin lit by candle, and dripping, the night is black and it is Halloween. Rattle the window and rattle the knee, the legend of your progenitors. Tell, about the New York Times book review, how trite it is in the main, how unimportant and smug it is, how disgusting it is in the end, how a young writer can go to town, but not forever. Tell of Christmas at home in Lowell, the snow falling in the street, padding feet, the lights in the window, blue, green, red, the smell of candies and nuts inside, the bitter gum smell of the tree, the gifts, sitting in the plush sofa of the parlor with a glass of dark port wine, watching the tree and thinking things over, looking at the tree with silent melancholia, thinking happily about Christmas at home, and snow drifting down past the arc light on the corner. Halper standing in a Manhattan doorway, cold, laughing in the snowfall. Wolf walking by the Boston Harbor, smelling the warehouse and the wharves, feeling food, voyage, thrill, clangor of the heart. Faust is back. Tell of Soroyan waking up in the night across the Paramount, his hair freezing on his head, laughing at the walls, the snowfalls in Manhattan. And above all, tell of Kerouac walking in the streets of Lowell in the winter's night, looking up alleys illuminated by the round, cold disk of the moon, knowing the clear, screaming glint of star in winter, knowing the black, black outline of squalid wooden porches in Lowell, Mass, dirty alleys, grimy back porches, black against the white moon of winter, narrow little alleys with solitary ash barrels throwing a shadow on the frozen ground, walking up the long street, empty echo of steps on the frozen sidewalk, knowing the silence and beauty of winter midnight in Lowell slums. Remember, Kerouac, to notice the thing that is New England in the winter, men riding by in a dirty gray 30 Essex, 3 of them in front on a very cold gray day, cords of wood on the back seat, the old car puffing and steaming in the dead cold New England winter afternoon. That's it, the dead cold winter. The dead cold New England winter afternoon. That's it, the dead cold winter afternoon of New England. Dead cold grayness. Snow falling on Moody Street, and the light from Rocher's Diner, and the New Year's Eve 1939 Jack-o'-diamonds, the Rex, Freddy, the snow. Remember? Above all, Zaggy, my child, remember the thing that counts. The great big thing that stands up alone and predominates shaggily, like a dead cold winter afternoon in gray, raw New England. Gray, raw. I am going to stress a new set of values. I am going to stress a new set of values, which people have been minimizing in importance up to now on account of their apparent unimportance as compared to the lofty ideas of economists, historians, scholars, etc. In actuality, I am going to show that this scale of values surpasses the supposedly magnanimous one, that it is actually the one which builds up the world and man to meet all the vicissitudes and trials which make up the day and age. Dear reader, what you're about to read is nothing more than exercise. I believe that form has been stressed too much. The following stuff is not written with an eye to form. It is written with an eye to complete expression. A novel form has the most complete expression, except that it is boring to see straight prose staring at you in the face every time you turn a page. Also, my system has more vitality. What with the dialogue, the comments, and the dramatic action. Do you know what I am talking about? I don't either. That is the soul of imagination, and imagination is the soul of literature. So long and take it easy, because if you start taking things seriously, it is the end of you. Jack Kerouac, American casual poet of no renown whatsoever, but equipped with a complete inner confidence that would stagger Saroyan. P.S. Whenever you get tired of everything, whenever you get tired of everything, go down to a saloon or a pinball machine house or jump in the river. However, if you do it every day like I do, you don't get anywhere. But who wants, as Nick says, to go anywhere? And furthermore, you can get sick of everything every day like I do and be one thing. A casual poet with no regrets, no excess baggage, and humor and intelligence, and good night, my old mad masters. So long and forget it. It is no harm. That's the idea of it all. How many times do I have to tell you? Sleep it off in bed, and when you wake up, work yourself up to a lather, whirled it all day, then go back to sleep it off at night. Unless you have a woman with you in bed. In that case, don't sleep right away. But be sure to do so after you've spent. Good night, boys. The Grim Reaper isn't grim at all. He's a lifesaver. He isn't grim because he isn't anything. He is nothing. And nothing is a hell of a lot better than anything. So long, boys.